You are my fire, the one desire. Believe when I say I want it that way, and we are two worlds apart. Can't reach to your heart when you say that I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
Am I your fire, your one desire, sir? This is Roy Philippos, our hero of the day. I better be careful. I've been informed by the Copyright Claims Board that using 1 minute and 30 seconds of somebody's song is, in fact, copyright infringement. And that cost Steven Crowder $750 for a song which had no economic value. Such is life when you live in a corporatocracy where companies like Netflix and Warner Bros. And Disney decide that actually they control everything and have exclusive permanent use of copyright forever and ever, and you can just suffer, and everybody smaller than them can just eat shit. So I will get into Roy Philippos later. He is just get a good look at him. Imagine pontificate the odorous aromas, chat. Today is going to be a pretty politics heavy stream, and for that we are going to need Neil Maham to segregate our segments. There is some locale stuff that's happened. I'm actually in pretty good mood, as it were, chat. I've not been in a good mood recently, but I have as of December. I think I've broken my haze that I found myself in, and I suppose I'll explain that. Should I explain that? I'll explain that towards the end of the YouTube segment, I suppose, so that there's more people listening. Let's start with the real groundbreaking, heavy-hitting news stuff, and that is that McCormick, the herbs and spices distributor in the U.S., is bringing back the tin for Old Bay seasoning. This is one of the most important indicators that I've seen in recent time that America is recovering, things are getting better, that there is hope for the positive polys out there. If you don't know, in case you're like foreign or something, Old Bay seasoning is a herb mix that was gifted to us by our Jewish friends, Jewish immigrants from Europe, and they came over, and I thought, oy vey, all this seafood, this bounty of seafood, it really needs some sneezing. So they crafted Old Bay, and it is the most important contribution of any Jew from before after Jew. Look, this is the most important thing that a Jew did between the death of Christ and the return. I can't say that. And Stephen Miller becoming becoming our deportation czar. Okay, this is up there. It's this guy number 3 favorite Jew of all time. Okay, so it's good, is what I'm saying, and a mark of quality. If you ever there's like old people who love to collect what's called like classic Americana, and you'll know it when you see it. It's kind of hard to describe. It's like vintage shit that just looks American. It has American paintings. It has American etchings. I see a lot of people. I've noticed in my return. I noticed things that I didn't used to, that were just normal to me now. But now I notice things like a lot of people will put up like cigarette ads, because that's like really, you don't see cigarette ads anymore. So if you see a cigarette ad that's like, wow, smoking is the best thing ever, you know it's an antique because it's been banned for so long. There's like something called mail pouch chewing tobacco. For some reason, that's like a popular vintage thing that people collect, is mail pouch. I think is what it's called. Anyways, the tins were very classic Americana, and when people would collect these, I'm like, wow, this is a vintage tin of some weird product. It has no meaning, no significance anymore. It's been consumed by the conglomerates, and it's been discontinued but it looks cool. It looks neat in this tin. And Old Bay sneezing was in a tin. So now that it's back, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know who the hell puts Old Bay sneezing on chicken. It belongs on seafood. Specifically, shrimp. Shrimp is the best thing to put Old Bay on. I don't know if you guys remember, but on July 4th, I somehow, oh no, not somehow. I drove all the way. I was visiting DC, and I drove all the way up to DC. And while I was in there, I stopped by Maryland, and I acquired a bottle of Old Bay flavored vodka, and it's not fucking joking. That was some Old Bay. It was like drinking straight alcoholic Old Bay. It was good. It would pair well with like a Bloody Mary or something. Anyways, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah, sneezing back. Next, let's read this. I did not read this on stream when it was relevant, when it was new. I didn't understand the significance of this. So I'm going to revisit something that I read last stream in the Super Chat segment, and I'll give it the credit that it deserves. This is a truth by our President Donald John Trump, and he says this. Again, this was an old post, but I'm revisiting it. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million census, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. The refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Parentheses, failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, and large deficits, etc. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey, quote unquote, as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the USA illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she was treated, when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. This is probably, and I mean this sincerely, the single best thing this man has ever fucking written, ever. This is a tweet that unironically I could have written. Just every single thing I hate, just wrapped up into one nice little truth. Yeah, hit send, exactly. Just amazing, just the best thing that my boy's ever written. And in particular, of all the things, of all the little trooks that were dropped by the president on the day of Thanksgiving, one trook stood out higher, balled hotter, spawned a greater mushroom cloud than the rest. And that was simply calling the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, a retard. Now, I am surrounded by rednecks. And I've noticed that rednecks really love to use the word retarded. And I did not realize that it had ever gone out of fashion. I know that transgender stuff put like the kibosh on a lot of transphobic rhetoric, a lot more than the word retarded was ever squelched. So I've always my vigorosity in saying that people are retarded has been completely unabated. This is like when you are in the water and you're scuba diving or something, and then a tidal wave is passing by. If you don't know, a tidal wave doesn't become particularly dangerous until it starts to approach land and is the energy is being pushed upwards. Then it becomes like a murderous blender of energy. But if you're just like swimming in the water, you'll get hit with like this really big wave. And you're like, what the fuck? What was that? So the ban on the word retarded hit me like that. I've just been submerged 100 feet deep in the retard. Okay. And when the retard ban came by, I didn't even notice it. And it was everybody ashore in the United States back home that got hit with the retard ban tidal wave. Okay. However, apparently this caused some controversy. I guess politicians aren't allowed to call people retarded. So we got some live reactions here, in particular from Michael Bohechik, I believe, saying, many of you have asked my position on redistricting. I have been an unapologetic advocate for people with intellectual disabilities since the birth of my second daughter. Those of you who don't know me or my family might not know that my daughter has Down syndrome. This is not the first time our president have used these insulting and derogatory references, and his choices of words have consequences. I will be voting no on redistricting. Perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policy and behavior deserve a congressional majority. This is a man elected by constituents to represent their interests, and he has the ability to better serve not only his constituents, but his state and his entire country. But the president of the United States said a word not directed at anyone in his family. He did not say what's the word here? The seriously retarded daughter of Michael Bohechek. He said the seriously retarded governor of Minnesota. And for some reason, Michael Bohechek took that personally. So if you are in Indiana and you have the ability to write angry letters to this idiot and to the GOP of your state, I would highly encourage you to get out your pen and paper or your printer and fire off some troops of your own, because this is completely fucking unacceptable. Nobody cares. Nobody asked. Nobody says, Michael Bohechek, how do you personally feel about the president saying retarded? Like, what a petty and quite frankly retarded thing to do, chat. So fuck this crybaby. Nobody gives a shit. Fuck your kid too. I don't fuck her. If she wasn't born, you'd be voting yes. As he says, he was not an unapologetic advocate for people with intellectual disabilities his entire life. He very specifically says, I started caring about this thing after it happened to me. Well, that doesn't mean much. Everybody cares about something that happens to them. You didn't care about it before, but now you care. Now it's deeply personal to you. Wow, what a hero. This thing that affects me personally is deeply, I'm deeply involved in it. Awesome, bro. Me too. All the things that I care about tend to happen to me personally as well. Fuck them. Next. Tim Walz actually gave his live reaction to being called a retard. Here's what he has to say.
True.
It's true. I think that's yeah, that's true.
True. This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people. This is shameful. And I have yet to see an elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful.
Okay, well, here you go. Here's Michael Bohechek. Maybe you guys can fuck each other or something.
Should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things go. They start with taunts, they turn to violence. So deeply concerned.
So Tim Walz is in the governor's mansion of Minnesota, and there are unchained, unhinged honkies driving past the governor's mansion with a megaphone, I presume, because he's in like a marble house, right? And they're just shouting at him, retard! Wait, hold up. I know who's doing it. Chat. I know how he can hear, because he just hears distantly. And he's like, what in the hell? What in the hell is that noise? He just hears it. What is that? What is that? And he drives past, and it's PPP with his Ontario license plate. It just dipped down into Minnesota and is ringing the bell. It's going, retard Tim Walz. And that's how he's getting the notice. and instilling fear in him, instilling fear. There's a very funny video. I'll never be able to find this on a moment's notice, but there's a very funny video of a guy who's like 7 feet tall and looks just like PPP, and he is taking a cop and it's like a Canadian cop, and slamming him on the ground, just like because he's so fucking big, and they're chasing, and then he like runs away like giggling. And it's like I've never been clarified to me if that's actually PPP or not, but it's very funny. Okay, next, this is news. I have several censorship legislation related pieces of news, chat. And they affect all the countries. They affect the United States. They affect sorry, I had to refresh the Rumble thing. They affect the United States, they affect Canada, and they affect the EU. The first one is Congress is holding hearings on 2 pieces of legislation that will directly impact the U.S. internet. The first is called the Deepfake Liability Act, which aims to modify Section 230, because of course it does, to very specifically give liability for platforms that don't screen out artificially generated images or content that causes harm. So somehow you need a computer to weed out computer-generated content. Is somehow you have to have like they're trying to make it so that if you don't have a computer that's bigger and better than everybody else's computer to detect that computer is generating computer stuff that also causes harm, you have to be able to detect that also. Then you're liable for it. And then the second one is the Education Not Endless Scrolling Act, which is going to try and add digital ID to Play stores. So on Apple and the Google Play Store, you're going to have to ID yourself to download certain apps as part of their age gating process that they've been obsessed with. Elon Musk has been fined 120 euros, which is $140 million, as a result of violating EU anti-speech regulation. Is the first ever penalty under the Digital Services Act, which the ECC passed, the EC concluded that the paid-for blue tick symbol misled users, and platforms stonewalled giving researchers access to data, and it had failed to properly set up an advertising repository. So the EU is really desperate to clamp down. Look at this guy is so fucking brown, man. He's so brown. I have to care what this guy says.
Work to actually show that there's about a 6 to 7 million vehicle deficit of cars that were never purchased because of the pandemic.
This guy is trying to say that Tesla shares are overvalued. Pro tip, the entire stock market is meaningless and filled with bullshit. And the only reason why you're saying that is because you don't like them, effectively. Okay, next, this is also the EU. The EU has put all service platforms in a Zugzwang. In particular, there are 2 contradictory concepts, which means that effectively you will always be violating a certain EU rule, regardless of how you proceed. So there's 2 concepts here. Let me read my notes because there's the other one. The first one is that the EU requires that you keep as little data as necessary. The GDPR, many people are familiar with because of the cookie thing. So on one hand, you must first keep as little information as possible. And then the second one is that you are obligated to prevent fraud and abuse. So you can't, for instance, if a user deletes their account or is banned, you're no longer under the GDPR permitted to hold IP data or any other fingerprinting that you've used to identify that user. So then if the user attempts to create a new account to sock puppet, to circumvent a ban, to do whatever, you can't then take that data and prevent them from re-registering, because that's unnecessary information that you have on hand. but you're also obligated to prevent many different kinds of abuse on your platform. So on one hand, you're not permitted to hold fingerprinting information, and then on the other hand, you're not permitted to allow people to do whatever the fuck they want. So if you do host a user-generated content social media platform on in the EU, God forbid, you will suffer forever for it. Okay, hold up. I have the someone sent me the video. We're gonna take a detour back to pay. Anyways, my point is that you should be very glad that you're not in the EU. Unless you are in the EU, in which case, your life is hell. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Look, is that like, this is supposedly skinny young PPP, all right? Just an absolute unit. And he has been accosted by these freaks in their yellow jackets. So he's just going to do a little slammerooski. Boom. Ouch. Sucks to be you. Then he's off. Look. There he is. Back in the day. Back before he found Ethan Ralph and Godwinson. And then he's fled. They never caught up with him. He was simply too fast. Okay, next. Oh, this is in Canada. And for whatever reason, Canada, or Meta, the Facebook company, is pushing Canada to pass its own set of digital verification ID laws for App Store downloads, which is bizarre. You would think that the tech companies would be against age verification gating and other bullshit, but it's probably a simple matter of the more regulation and the more bullshit that exists, forcing companies to behave a certain way, the harder it is for any small company to enter that market. It's like with manufacturing a car. It's almost impossible unless you have billions of dollars to make a car manufacturer, because you have to comply with like 70 plus years of NHTSA regulations on car safety standards. So it's like, how do you even begin? Even like foreign manufacturers can't compete in the US market because we've created this regulatory burden that nobody can meet. Unless you're specifically already popular in the US market, there's no point to build for the US market. So companies like Meta are effectively evil, and this is what they're doing with their evilness. This guy named Tibor Blaho did a scan of things that had been pushed into the ChatGPT Android app, and these tokens were identified. com.openai.feature, and then there is a new category called ads. Ad.data.ads debug info. Ad target type, API ads debug info, API ad target type, bizarre content wrapper, encoded ad data, API search ads carousel, bizarre content wrapper, encoded ad data, searched ad, and search ad carousel. What could that look like? How about this from this guy? I don't know if this is true or not, but it looks real to me, chat. He says, man, I'm so over everything. And then ChatGPT says, I'm so sorry, Jason. That sounds really rough. You know what sure would be nice right now? A good bowl of Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Would you like me to open Instacart for you? It's like an episode of Black Mirror, chat. My favorite episode, I watched through like most of Black Mirror like a couple weeks ago in Halloween, in October, not specifically on Halloween, but in October. And there's an episode from the last season where you can repair your brain with like a computer, and then if you're not paying $1,000 a month for the premium package, they start using you to advertise to people like in real life. Like there was a teacher and she was consoling like a fat kid or something, and then the ad took over and was like, oh, you should try losing weight with this product. Or no, it was a Christian ad or something. She started like preaching the gospel, like some kind of scam Christian organization. That's what's going to happen. Unless we start doing certain activities that cannot be described in the presence of Neil Maham to advertisers and I don't know why people don't get angrier at ad agencies. You know how fucking evil they are? Not only are ads like the most bullshit thing ever, not only are they intrusive, not only do they push you shit that you don't fucking need. Not only are they the reason why every platform gets worse all the time, but they're also the ones that are constantly trying to like prowl the earth for the most mutt looking people ever. Like if you ever see an interracial couple, there's an ad executive who is hunting them down so he can take pictures of them smiling at the beach or some shit to put them in the ads. And for some reason, nobody ever, like, there's never been a public outcry of we have to go cancel these ad execs. Why is that? Why is it that ad exec companies are never scrutinized? I would like to see more deranged, bewildering fury directed at ad agencies about our cabinets. And then, but there's never anything like that about ad executive agencies. I don't even know the names of them. I don't even know who goes and puts out ads anymore. Who is the person who is responsible for selecting the mixed race couples that end up in every single advertisement continuously? Who runs those agencies? Why is there no conspiracy about how the ad executives are fucking kids or something? Why is this anger never directed at the people who deserve it the most? I don't understand. Next. Preston, our lawyer in the Ofcom issue, has announced that 4chan is continuing to receive harassing communique directed at enforcing the Online Safety Act of the United Kingdom against the American company 4chan Community Services, LLC. But have no fear. Apparently, according to him, since New Hampshire and Wyoming are trying to pass their anti-foreign intervention laws, supposedly the House will also be passing or introducing an act to completely prohibit American businesses from like seizing assets for foreign countries, something like that. When that happens, I'll let you guys know. I need to like create like a list. How would I do that? If you're somebody who works for like a nonprofit or for like a 501c4 or like for a politician, and you know how to like organize people, get in touch with me. Get in touch with the moon@usips.org email address and let me know. How do I start sending people tear out postcards that they can send to their reps and shit? There's got to be some way to accomplish that shit. That's what we need. The moon. Yeah, that's me. I'm the moon. Next, I have not listened to this yet, but it is more Angloid suffering. Supposedly, this guy right here got into an argument with his parents because he is a white nationalist, and his parents don't like that, so they kicked him out, and his father got arrested. Let's take a listen.
Open the door, my house, I pay for this shit, why not?
Womp womp.
Why not?
Womp womp.
Oh my god, I pay for this house, I'm phoning 999, telling to tell you, you are...
And what? And what? You're threatening me because we have a difference in opinion.
Me? Why?
You're gonna smash the door open. Go on. Smash the door open then. Do it. And what? Throw me out because we disagree? You're pathetic. I fucking hate you people. I always have.
You fucking hate us.
Yeah. How do you think Nana and Gran are gonna react? You wonder why they're so... Go and smash it open. We disagree. I want to preserve my people and you want to hurt me because I want to preserve my people.
Door now.
Why? Smash the door open. Do it. Prove it.
You've got to leave.
Prove
You
it.
need to open the door, so open the door now so that you can...
No, smash... If you want to...
Wait, I see Steam. That's definitely Steam right there. What's the other one? Is that Discord? Signal. He's got Signal open, saying urgently telling his friends in the Groiper Signal group that Mum's about to smash down my door.
You need to open the door, so open the door now so that you can...
No, smash... If you want to smash the door open because I disagree about who should be in this country, do it. If you want to smash the door open because I disagree who should be in this country, do it. You go drunk, and this is what happens. I can't. They live in Grimsby, mate. It's way too far away.
Grimsby.
No.
Why not?
But all you're going to do is shout at me because you're drunk. I don't even understand. What is your problem? What is your problem? What is your problem?
Oh, God. That guy sounds incredibly British and
You're going to
angry.
regret this in 10 years' time when I don't speak to you anymore.
If they did not replace this man, their own son, if they did not open their doors and open their child's bedroom to a poor Pakistani refugee fleeing from Pakistan because it's Pakistan, they're not actually, they're just pretend. They're just fakers. They're not actually doing what they need to do to help accommodate the suffering people of the world.
Mom, you're gonna regret this in 10 years' time when I don't speak to you anymore because you rejected me when I was right. You're gonna reject this in 10 years' time when I have nothing to do with you. This is the end, okay. They're gonna reject it in 10 years.
No.
Do it then, because you're trying to smash my door open, because I disagree.
They're fucking racist.
Oh, she's crying!
My son is 22 and he's really radicalized. I can't.
Radicalized!
Oh, they're responding. Radicalized. We'll send the fucking armed police over immediately. He muted.
I'm not harming myself.
What's your concern with him in his room?
I'm a
Oh god, she looks like a goblin. Look at that goblin.
political commentator.
Really right wing. He's posting
Oh my
stuff
God.
online. He's shouting at us. Using to come at his
This is so dramatic.
Just take a deep breath for me so I can understand you.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Oh no. The second goblin has
You
arrived.
don't scare me, Dad.
Do I not?
No.
Do I not?
What is wrong with you?
Do I-
Why are you assaulting me?
Do I not?
Why are you assaulting me? Why are you assaulting me?
Shut the fuck up, you parasite. I have brought you up for fucking 20 years.
Let me leave.
What the fuck have you become?
Let me leave.
What have you become?
Let
I
me
want
walk-
you to leave. Jesus Christ, we've been
Then let me walk out that door. Let me walk out that door.
Have you?
Let me walk out that door.
What
Let
have you
me
become?
walk out that door.
Answer my question.
Nothing. I just want to preserve this nation. Do you not
Jim,
understand?
you will not win this war.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
I'm leaving
This
house.
fucking country is gonna be the most fucking black country in the whole fucking world. The sun will never rise on the British Empire. Even the fucking sun will be blacked by the overcast. It will be a black overcast over the whole bloody fucking island.
I want you to leave. I don't want you to come back.
I'm leaving right now.
I want you to go right now.
I'm leaving right now.
Go.
Oh my god,
I'm
now
leaving.
he's filming us.
No, I'm leaving.
Filming us.
Jim, I have nothing to hide.
You're off to jail tonight, by the way. You just assaulted me.
Jim,
I want to leave. I want nothing to do with you.
Dude, the boomers are just like the worst people that have ever fucking been born. Every boomer is going straight to hell. I'm sorry.
good luck. Off you go. Off you go. Don't come back.
Go away.
You want to smash my...
Go away. What is wrong with you?
John, don't come back.
Like, I want to make fun of him for like being like a Nancy boy, like a wee little midge, but his parents are like even worse. This is why is he radicalized? Oh, because you hate him. You hold him in utter fucking contempt, and his mere existence is like grating on you. And I wonder why he wants to like murder all the brown people now. Suffer, Ingloids. Next, Oh, this is more. This is Angloid suffering moment. Okay. So in the UK, there was a wee little split, I believe, in the Tories. And because, with the whole Nigel Farage and all the talk about remigration, they're just a little bit too extreme. They're a little bit too extreme for a lot of people. A lot of Tory voters, like the parents we just saw, who want to support good, common sense, conservative values, but who also want an infinite amount of migration from the biggest shitholes that have ever existed in all mankind's history. And so they had to make a new party called the U Party. And the U Party had its first conference, its first rally to try and get people behind this new movement to be excited for. And apparently, now I haven't watched this, but apparently these clips are very funny. So a shut it down moment. This is the first clip. It says a shut it down moment where a speaker calls for less infighting and purity testing among a group that's attempting to become a political party. And then they cut to a splash screen. Okay.
My name's Claire. I'm from Dartford, your party.
If I see a person waving their fucking hands at me at the bottom of the screen, I know there's not a single fucking thing that I'm about to hear that I'm going to give a shit about. On your phone, if you have an Android, just open up your phone right now and press the up or down on your volume keys. Press the three dots, okay? And then look at the bottom. There's a little bubble that says live caption. If you enable that, you will see an automated caption of everything that your device is playing in real time. So if you are a deaf person, you are living in the absolute best time to ever be deaf ever in human history. You don't have to rely on closed captioning. You don't have to rely on the Wiggles, Mr. Wiggles sitting in the corner doing the flippity flaps with his hands. You can automatically, in real time, for free, transcribe any spoken content, any music, even the people around you in real time. So this is completely performative. The only reason why this exists is to show that they're an inclusive unit. And that is a red flag for being retarded.
Also a member of Socialist Alternative. I want to speak for the name Our Party, not because I think it's a particularly good name, but because I think this should be our party. And the reason why we're having this debate now on the agenda, when we've been given 4 options.
Dude, it also translates it in real time. Yeah, I know it's a live event. Like I said, you open your phone, you go to the volume and do live captioning, and then you can even change it to live caption in Spanish. So the guy who said, "Can I get that again in Spanish?" You can do that. You can if you're a Spanish speaker and you wish that Man at the Internet was in Espanol. Number one, get the fuck out of my country. Number 2, you can do that easily for free on your phone right now. The flippity flaps completely unnecessary. Blind or deaf Spanish speakers can read Man at the Internet in real time.
None of which were particularly popular, as far as I could see, is because there were amendments that were submitted by hundreds of members all around the country, which talk about the issues which people on this conference floor wanted debated, amendments which have been silenced because they call into question an unelected clique who have been brought in and who have been doing damage to this party. Earlier, we heard discussion about the potential damage, the Red Scare of left-wing groups.
The benefit of the flippity flapper is that we can see her get increasingly awkward and nervous, like her body language is as this person speaks.
Of the people who have been on the streets, building roads.
Do I still have this? I do. I have the panic button. You gotta have the panic button.
My name is Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
I use she, they pronouns. And I come from West Yorkshire. I recently moved to Edinburgh. And I'm speaking for option A, to stand candidates as widely as possible. First, I feel like it's most important to address people's concerns with this option, that it will allow transphobic and racist
Hey,
and
Joseph has the same last name as our attorney, doesn't he? Byrne. Yeah, that's right. Maybe they're related. Maybe this is his niece.
otherwise bigoted candidates to stand in the name of your party, as we have seen with the 2 MPs who recently resigned after making transphobic comments.
Participant, please speak to the option.
I am speaking to the option. I'm addressing people's concerns.
Call him a tranny.
I am addressing people's concerns with the option, such as to effectively speak to the option. Thank you.
But I ask you...
Is that the Me Party? Look at this. You have this fucking bull dyke. That also looks like a bull dyke. I'm pretty sure that's a man, but he has the body shape of a bull dyke. You got a black woman, and then you have another bull dyke. Yeah. Is that the potty? Is that the potty? You got 3 lesbians and a blackie. Yeah.
Now, to speak to the option, as has been requested, this is essential to fight reform and their far-right policies.
The
we
CEO.
will not beat reform if we choose to just stand in 1 or 2 seats where we're sure we can win. We will not beat reform by focusing on the areas they have made the least progress. We will beat reform by fighting across the country, including the areas where they have made the most progress, the areas where people are most disenfranchised with the political establishment, the areas where people are sick of the lies of the government and the lies of Labour. So we must stand as widely as possible, and this will only be successful if we have...
Okay, I get it. You're a gay tranny. Socialism is when we cut mics. Okay, let's see this one. Man or woman, chat. Call it.
We're very glad to be hearing member motions like this one, but one of the most popular member-submitted motions to have elected officials and staff salaries capped at a median worker's wage was tabled in standing orders. It immediately became by far the most popular motion before it was quickly ruled out of order. In the words of a volunteer, because of a typo. Instead of allowing the most popular motion...
I don't want to hear somebody read a script. I'm just so disinterested in that. Like, you're looking... Like, you can't even store the information that you have to say in your head long enough to, like, transmit it onto the microphone. You can't prepare any of your thoughts. You have to, like, write them down on the phone. What's even the point, then? You might as well just write a post at that point. Okay.
Room, if you follow, if you go to the room behind you, there's an Airstream, and the door to the Standing Orders Committee is just there on the left. So you're more than
Was that the Wiggler? It's the Wiggler. She's giving directions with her hands.
welcome anybody. This applies.
Ms. Wiggler, which direction is up, but not all the way up, like 70% up?
You're very welcome to raise a point of order. They will come through to me as the chair. We've just made very clear in the standing orders there will be no points of order raised from the floor. Conference, we do not welcome this disruption. Steward, could you please kindly remove the person from the front? If you'd like to go and raise your point of order from the room, you are very welcome. Thank you.
Wow, this is some great party unity. What a great first event. Preemptive calls for purging. Okay.
Of option B to make it a fair debate.
Hello, comrades. Dominic from Croydon. There may come a time when we need to form alliance with people, but we can't, from day one, fling the door open to every sect when we don't even know what we stand for ourselves. And we need to make sure that we build our own identity. Every effort like this has failed because of the influence of tiny sectarian groups. And we need to have a proper examination of what they stand for. And I cannot believe how short some people's memories are, that we have the Socialist Workers' Party coming up here acting whiter than white. We know what they did. We know what they did, comrades. They covered up a rape. They covered up a rape.
Dude, when you hear British people and they're angry, it just sounds so evil. Like British people talking just sounds like the most evil shit ever. Everyone's like, oh, when the Germans start yelling, they just sound so mean. Bro, British people, like Germans, they just sound silly, okay? British people, they sound evil. And then you listen to what they say, because you can understand them because they're not German, and you're like, wow, you actually are evil.
And they expelled people for bringing that to attention. That's the
Let's
kind of
keep
culture that they
kind,
bring
please.
in. How dare they? How dare they?
Keep coined. Keep
We
coined.
do not want any fights or arguments. Let's calm it down.
Look at this man filled with hate and anger. He's got that overcast or that shadow over his deep set eyes where he's thinking, I wish I could kill them all the people who disagree with me. I wish I could do away with them.
We've talked a lot about the toxic politics of the Labour Party, but I tell you, there's some toxic politics.
We
in
are
these
going to have to
sects.
turn the mic off.
Thank you, comrades.
Going to have to turn the mic off.
Okay. Blue. Muslim or trans or more socialist? Okay, this will be the last one, and then I'm done with the British suffering.
Hi
For
there,
now.
conference. My name is Erin from Glasgow. When this party started, it included 2 MPs who were openly transphobic, one of whom was a landlord. This party preaches unity and equality for its working class members.
I'm sorry, I need to stop you there for calling them transphobic from the rostrum. Can you please stick to the motion?
Boo! Give them props. Give them props.
2 members who allegedly expressed transphobic views. If we seek to protect our members and those and the rest of society, we have to set clear criteria for who we will and will not work with. I will have different views on what the broadest possible alliance is to the person next to me, who will have different views to the person next to them, and so on and so on. This is always going to be a contentious issue if we do not set out clear criteria. And we are a contentious party enough as is. We're leftists. We like to infight. Let's not invite more reason for us to do so. Let's actually bring ourselves together and fight for unity together, instead of inviting the risk of that being subverted away from us, instead of allowing people to come in under the guise of social alliance who will detract from our goals, who will actively spread hate and disunity amongst us and the rest of the working class. I urge you to vote against this motion. Thank you.
Oh god, look at that stride. Look at that fucking virgin walk. This guy's gonna do his do.
Can I remind people to keep to respectful discourse at the rostrum? Thank you.
The issue is that how do you unite trannies and Muslims together? You can't. That's why the left likes to infight, because you have completely separate understandings of the world. If only you were more homogenized, then you could have some unity. But unfortunately, you're a vast array of people united by class fury alone. Oh, one last Anglo-suffering thing. In a recent review of antibiotic and antifungal resistant infections, they've discovered that there is an increasing number of people who are carrying microbes on them, which are resistant to both antimicrobial is the word when it's both fungus and bacteria. They're resistant to antimicrobial treatments. The US, Russia, Germany, UK, about 30+% of people carry this type of bacteria. In India, it is 85% plus. And since there are many Indians in the UK now, there is a drug-resistant super fungus that is spreading. It is sexually transmitted, but can also be transmitted by regular contact, and it will stay in places. So if somebody with a dirty, disgusting GS sits in a public bus seat, and then you sit on it, and your back, your shirt lifts up a bit and touches that same spot on the bus, you will get a super fungus that will eat away at your flesh over your entire body, and will take several weeks for your body to clean up on its own. So it's one of the many part and parcels of a diverse society is getting ass fungus that eats away at your flesh and is resistant to drugs and treatment. Next, we're now properly in the Izat segment, the JEETs. There was a plane crash that was ruled as a accident, not a deliberate crash, by the courts of India. However, the U.S. analysis of the crash indicated that it was a deliberate incident that was direct sabotage by the pilots. Air India cannot admit this, however, because that would harm the Izat of their collective corporation and the Indian people in the face of the white man, which they cannot allow. The Office of Public Affairs for the U.S. Department of Justice has announced that they have arrested 2 men for conspiring to destroy the United States government. In particular, they were brothers, and they were contractors, and they had set off on how to delete as much information out of the Department of Justice databases as possible. 96 government databases were completely destroyed. According to the DOJ, they were all containing information pertinent to Freedom of Information Act's requests. And the other one was attempting to delete something and had even asked AI how to purge a government computer of all of its logs. And that itself was logged, which was now used as evidence against him. Those 2 men conspiring against the United States government, Indian. We brought over these best and brightest IT experts, the H-1Bs that we need to run our society, because white men are just so stupid and lazy. Yeah, they're just randomly deciding to destroy entire segments of the U.S. federal government database. Fun. Next, I have some clips from Vivek Ramaswamy. By the way, you can tell if somebody is I haven't picked a name out for this. I invited some brainstorming on Zitter, and I did not get a good response. But we need something that's like a slave, like a white slave term, that you have to be able to say it and immediately be clear that you're calling them a white slave simp for JEETs, without them knowing exactly what, like if they're hearing it for the first time, it has to be offensive and it has to portray that they're a white slave to JEETs. Tim Pool is a white slave to JEETs, which is why when he pronounces Vivek's name, he doesn't pronounce it like Vivek, like the bad guy from the Elder Scrolls. He pronounces it Vivek, which apparently is like the correct Hindi way of doing this. So this is Vivek talking, and he's talking about his company that made him a very wealthy man called Roivant, and he liked to inspire Americans at Turning Point USA. With his story of success.
My mission was to say, how do we develop those medicines that I couldn't back as an investor? That's what irritated me. I said I have to leave my job as an investor to actually found a new company. So I founded Roivant in 2014 to develop medicines in exactly the areas the rest of the biopharma industry had abandoned. And that's a strategy that's not without risk, because sometimes they abandon projects because they are risky. One of the early medicines.
Oh, no, I've downloaded clips for everything, so let me just pull it up. I've gotten into a habit because I have so much storage space now for my computer setup that whenever I do my stream, I just preemptively download everything.
My mission was one of the early medicines we developed was a drug for Alzheimer's disease, and it was a bold bet. We developed it, but actually it was one of the first projects of my company, and it failed. You run clinical trials. Turns out most drugs for Alzheimer's fail. Turns out that's why a lot of pharma companies had backed off. And to me, again, that was another example, like the stand-up comedy career, I guess you could say, of encountering adversity. But we built a company that eventually developed and turned many of those therapies into approved medicines. One for prostate cancer, another for endometriosis and uterine fibroids, women's health conditions that pharma had actually ignored. And one actually is on the market today. It's a treatment for a congenital disease where kids are born without a thymus. 100% of those kids die by the age of 3 if they're untreated. And the therapy that we developed, now FDA approved, allows 70% of those kids to live lives of a normal duration. I tell you this story in part because it has nothing to do with politics, but it involves what I think is a core part of the American dream, is a willingness to take risks, a willingness to be contrarian. And that's actually the spirit that pulled me into politics.
Vivek is speaking because his company, Roivant, is actually a scam. What he did, he's a Nepo baby. He has rich parents that were involved in biochemical companies already. His company, Roivant, bought an Alzheimer's disease medication that had failed clinical trials 4 different times. He bought the medication that the company that actually made it, that actually invented it, he bought the medication for $5 million, the license to make it. And he had his mother sit on the clinical trial team, and they ran it through a 5th clinical trial. Or rather, they took the 4th clinical trial, and his mother fixed it and made it look presentable to the FDA. Then he opened his pharmaceutical company to the stock market, and the stock market surged. It was apparently one of the most successful IPOs of a pharmaceutical company ever in the stock market's history. Over the next couple months, his family and him sold significant holdings of their company at the high evaluation that they had maintained, and then submitted their drug, which they had already tested 4 times and shown poor results for an official 3-part trial that an FDA requires all drugs to go through. Surprise, it failed, and his company lost 99% of its value overnight. So everybody that invested in this company lost their money, except for Vivek Ramaswamy and his family, who had already sold by that point and left everybody else holding the bags. Vivek Ramaswamy is a scammer, and he is scamming the American electorate. It's in his blood. It's in his fucking DNA. They can't help themselves. They just do it instinctively. It's what they do. And he tries to pass this off as him saving children's lives, when what he's done is not too distinct from something like Martin Shkreli, who is demonized. He simply bought the rights to medications and tried to flip a profit with them. He did not invent anything. Next, another thing from Vivek Ramaswamy, and he, at Turning Point USA, where he was speaking, he relays his last conversation about Charlie Kirk, that he had with Charlie Kirk.
That was the subject of my last discussion with Charlie Kirk. I spoke to him on August 25th, met him in Central Ohio. There's 2 of us sitting one-on-one in a conference room in Delaware County, and we spent about an hour talking about what is an American. I asked him the question. I'll tell you what he told me in response. It's a classic method he had. He would say, I know what it's not. I'll tell you what it's not. It's not a race, and it's not government paperwork either. I agree with him on that. Our American identity is not just about a race or a lineage. You could be of a particular race or lineage, but if you don't believe in the founding ideals of this country, you're not really an American. You could have crossed the border physically, and the government could give you a piece of paper. But if you don't believe in the ideals of this country, you're not really an American in the truest sense of that word either. What does it mean to be an American? I believe it means we believe in those ideals that set our country into motion 250 years ago. It means we believe in merit, that the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color. It means we believe in the rule of law. I say this as the proud son of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. It means we believe in free speech and open debate, whether you're on the left or right, whether you're Nick Fuentes or Jimmy Kimmel, it doesn't matter. You get to express yourself without government censorship.
Charlie Kirk, before his death, had taken a very hardline anti-immigration stance that completely and totally does not align with what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying in the speech, indicating that he is knowingly lying about the last words of a dead man in order to further his political agenda. He made a statement about how the United States is a set of ideas that set the country in motion 250 years ago. Well, if we wind back the clock to about 235 years ago, we have among the Immigration Act of 1790 by the first Congress of the United States, which defines, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that any alien being a free white person who shall have resided within the limits of under jurisdiction of the United States for a term of 2 years may be admitted to become a citizen thereof. So the great ideas that we're talking about when we talk about what set the country in motion 250 years ago is literally a free white person of good standing, which is not Vivek Ramaswamy, in case you're wondering, chat. Next, I got this one last second. The man that you're seeing right there is the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. Jacob Frey is a Jewish man, but he has a love, affection for not Indian, but Somalian people, because there are many Somalians in Dearborn and in Minneapolis. And, you know, when Trump came out and started making fun of Somalis recently, Jacob Frey had to stand up and defend his constituents. And he said that they were great. So they invited him over to a Somali restaurant to eat. So this nice Jewish man in his suit, he's here at a Somali restaurant. And I think they normally eat with their hands. So this is my interpretation of this. There's a big metal dish with some kind of slop in it. I have no idea what it is. And then there's paper bowls, like the kind you buy at Walmart, so that when you have a barbecue, you have some disposable dishes and you don't have to clean up. Now, this is a restaurant, so you would expect them to have dishes, but there are none. They're using paper bowls, and that leaves me wondering if perhaps normally they don't use dishes at all, and they just eat with their hands out of this bowl of slop in the middle of the table. That is literally my best possible guess for this, because I assume that Jacob Frey said, hey, I can't eat with my hands because I'll get bullied on Twitter for eating like a savage. So they said, okay, Whitey, here's some cheap silverware and here's some paper bowls that we got at Walmart for you. That is the only thing I can come up with to explain why he's eating like this. But we're not talking about the bowls here. We're talking about his face. Take a good look at his face as he eats the Somali slop, chat. Oy vey, this really, oh my God, oh my Yahweh, really good. This is really good. Wow. I'm gonna dig into this. Look at his spoon. Okay, don't look at his face. You've looked at his face, you know his face. Okay, he takes the bite, right? He eats the bite and he's like, whoa, buddy. Wow. We're gonna watch just his spoon. Watch what he's gonna take a huge second scoop of this food that he loves. He's digging in there. Damn, he's getting a big spoonful of that. Oh, he's just shoveling the food around in the bowl like a child, trying to make it look like their vegetables have been thinned out. Look at that. Look at it again. Gonna get a big old spoonful of this. Yeah. Yep. I'm digging right in. Can't get enough. Suffer. Next. So Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, my governor, and he is the best governor in the entire country. This man is so on point. He is my favorite Hispanics of all time at this point. He just can't help himself. Everything he tweets is a fucking banger. He should honestly, if he ran for president right now, he might. He might be a good pick if he's at all fucking honest. I know he's like super pro-Israel, but they're all pro-Israel. He can't look, as long as he gets rid of the Indians, I will allow him to build a gigantic gold monument to Israel in Palestine. I don't care. Just get rid of the Indians. And Ron DeSantis might be our guy for that. But Ron's departure from the governorship has left open a position to be filled, a very important position. The governor of one of the most GOP-leaning states right now, especially since Texas is 23% white in the under 18 demographic and will soon be red or blue forever and ever and ever and ever, lost forever, unless we deport them all. Florida, however, despite having a high Hispanic population, actually remains very red because the Latinos there really don't like socialists for some reason. So Who does Zion Don pick for this very important election? A guy called Byron Donalds, and despite how white his name sounds, he is a black guy. Now, in the race, there is a contender who is America First, but not picked by Donald Trump personally, called, I think, James Fishbeck. James Fishbeck. And he's the good choice. He's the gooder choice, but the MAGA people don't like him because he's contesting Byron Donalds, the hand-picked competition. So let's see who Trump has picked. You ready? Byron registered as a Democrat until 2010. He defended Trayvon Martin, who, if you don't remember, was a young Florida boy who just went out for some Skittles and Arizona iced tea and was murdered by evil white man. What's his face? I forget his name. Claimed George Floyd was murdered. Buddy with Mills, who sucks. Buddy with Fine, who I don't have an opinion on him. He was convicted of theft. Why? What are you? You're a politician. Why are you convicted of theft? What is it about you that made you steal, buddy? And then somehow made millions of dollars disappear from a charter school. Okay, so that's why Fishbeck is opposed to him. Now, Fishbeck has been finding some clips, some nice tiny little sound bites to play of this guy. Let's see what he has to say. This is, I believe, is in 2021, very recent.
We do have a responsibility to the Afghans who actually gave their lives and either put their families in harm's way to help us and assist us in our mission. We have a responsibility to do what needs to be done for them. We do have a responsibility.
Okay, so the responsibility that we owe to Afghans is to deport them all forever and to take anybody with any Afghani ancestry and forcibly denaturalize them by any means necessary. So I'm not a huge fan of that point right there. How about this one right here? I'm not sure when this was. The guy doesn't say. Let's take a listen.
Modernize a lot of these different visa programs. Do all that work. Do it. Get it done. And I think the American people, whether you're liberal or conservative, will say, okay, now that our immigration system is sound and modernized and we've secured our country, now let's take a look at the people who are here illegally. And I think the American people, we're great people. We're a good people. We're a beneficent people. And with
Beneficent. This motherfucker picked that up listening to a gospel preacher on black entertainment television. Beneficent. Motherfucker.
Those people who are here working hard, doing those things that they should be doing is just as good neighbors and good people, we would make them and put them on this pathway to citizenship. But I think the pathway to actually fixing immigration in our country is possible. But we have to have honest conversations with ourselves. We got to have honest brokers, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, because we can come to a solution that actually respects citizenship in our country and actually creates a stable legal immigration process in our country.
I don't think so. So what we need to do is clamp down on immigration, and then we'll just naturalize everybody, and then the problem solved. No illegal immigrants in the country. If you don't know, the immigration system for the U.S. is completely insane. Our immigration system is literally pants on head retarded. It is effectively impossible for a person in Europe. Like I've spoken to so many people who are either in like Poland or the UK or Italy or whatever, and they want to come over to the United States. There is no way for an educated white person to legally come into the United States without one of two main avenues. A job offer, but you're not going to fucking get, because all of our companies are only hiring Indians. 80% of our H-1Bs are Indians, or through marriage. So you either have to shack up for a green card or you have to get hired to come to the United States. We have no sane way. We don't even have ways for like extended family to legally come over. It is a system, however, that incentivizes coming over illegally and then adjusting. So unless you want to spend multiple years waiting on a green card to come through the embassy system, you literally, the sane way, and the immigration lawyers can't tell you to do this, but they'll just hint and say, yeah, just do that. You bring them in to the country illegally, and then you file immediately for an adjustment of status. And that's it. That is the number one way to come into the United States. You just come in illegally and adjust status. Now, who is going to do that? Brown people. White people from Europe are like afraid of the government and will never ever question them. So this is a terrifying prospect to them, to come over to the country illegally and then adjust status. But who's willing to do that? Somalis, Indians, Mexicans, Chinese people from the Communist Party that are spying on us. Those are the people who go over this way. So we have a fully dysfunctional immigration system that cannot be fixed. You effectively have to take everything that we have right now and destroy it and then rebuild it from the ground up with an emphasis on importing people who are compatible with our country. Because we've done this since the 70s, we've just completely broken our immigration system. Next. Oh, yes. Okay. So there's disorder, disarray, panic, terror, confusion in the Republican Party, with Vivek Ramaswamy and Byron Donalds being the worst possible gubernatorial picks for two very important states. What is Donald Trump concerned about at this moment?
Your mother called, she said
Donald Trump making gay anal rape great again. In the United States prison system, they're completely dismantling anti-rape measures that were put in place to stop gay and transgender and intersex people from being raped. So it is now an official DOJ, Department of Corrections policy. Rape is back on the menu. Good job, Donald. We're making America rape again. Finally. Thank you, Diddler Don. Great. That is the rape segment. Next. I don't know why I put this here. We're going to see a black guy get hit by a car. Is this a Rolls Royce? Are black people making so much money just watching black people be wild on like live stream that they're just buying like Rolls Royces? Because who else does the Galaxy thing in the ceiling? That's like a Rolls Royce thing, isn't it? Oh, they rented it. How do you guys know this? You guys watch this shit? What do you know what this is? So they rented a Rolls Royce and they're gonna go vroom vroom in their car. Okay.
Bro, this nigga Jay Sean just hit me, bro.
Get out. What the fuck?
Bro, this nigga Jay Sean just hit me, bro.
Why'd that nigga Deshaun hit him, bro?
Get out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car.
Bro, this nigga Jay Sean just hit me, bro.
Inside your vehicle and there's no direction. Is there anyone inside or on people that have been prepared? Please respond. Vehicle and I'm BMW.
Wait, is that like, does Rolls Royce have that thing where it's like, there's that scene in iRobot where the car gets knocked off the bridge and then a robot responds and is like, you have been in an accident. It's like that. It's like the robot's like, hey, hello, this is Shaniqua, Atlanta call center. Your call is reported as you've been in an accident. Is you there? Is you responsive and shit? That's pretty cool. I can't believe Deshaun did that. What a fucker. Next, cookies. This is cookies. What a nice picture, you might think. Josh, where did you get those cookies? Is this slop? Is this AI slop? In fact, many people presume, because the cookies are so nice, that they must be AI slop. However, chat, I can conclusively prove the cookies is not slop. Cookie. Stencil. Verification coin. Cookie. Okay, watch this. You can see real cookie, real sugar. Okay. Eating cookie. Elon Musk can't do this. Elon Musk can't do that, chat. That is the truth. That is the truth of the matter. Okay. All right. What I suppose I'll talk about the positive poly thing, right? So, yeah, let me move this out of order a little bit, and then I will discuss this. So this is jumping ahead a bit, but Liz Fong Jones, who of course pioneered End Kiwi Farms and then later rebranded to End Network Harassment because the Kiwi Farms did not end, put out this skeet on Blue Skeet and said, "I should be clear why I'm not going scorched earth. I just want to be left alone. If they don't have positions of public trust and they don't come around to surreptitiously stalk me, tee-hee-hee, etc., then I'm content to leave them alone. But knowing who to avoid is really important for my safety. And they are definitely not actually bluffing when they claim to have access to me in real life, unfortunately. Have had loads of people telling me they were bluffing. From a sample size of several, there are in fact former colleagues of mine. The pattern basically appears to boil down to career setback and or personal trauma, resulting in the person collectively blaming trans people for their situation, and then taking it out on one prominent trans ex-colleague they knew and scapegoating that person as categorically evil, etc. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention aggravating factor of racism. In order to indulge one's transphobia on Kiwi Farms, someone would also have to scroll past a lot of racism and condone it. But some of these men are already pretty racist, and well, I'm brown, which makes them extra aggro to me. What he's referring to is the fact that he knows for a fact a lot of people around him have joined the Kiwi Farms to talk about him. This is a recurring trend. Now, he seems to blame shift this on to the fact that they're simply racist transphobes who, when dealing with a professional setback because they're low IQ racist transphobes, tend to immediately blame him for their problems. I have heard from many people who have proven to me that they have worked with Liz Fong Jones from this all the way back to Google to current situations. There are people who are speaking to Liz Fong Jones this week who are in contact with me. And I know for a fact that everyone hates this fucking lunatic. I just want to let you know, because you're going to hear it, everyone hates you. You stink. They tell me that you stink and that you are basically you're someone looking for problems. You look for problems to cause because that's how you get high. You can't masturbate anymore because you cut off your dick. So you get high and coom by causing problems for other people. And that's why they hate you. It's not a professional setback. It's the fact that you stink and you cause problems for people. Nobody's racist against Asians, by the way, except for black people. Then they beat them up on the train for causing COVID or whatever the fuck. But you're not brown. You can't claim to be brown. You're not Byron Donalds. You're not Vivek Ramaswamy. You're Chinese. Nobody gives a shit. But he effectively declares that Drop Kiwi Farms is dead. Here, this one. Mood. The number of my ex-colleagues who are Kiwi farmers is more than just the one I've outed so far. And he tries to like do a thing, or it's like, if you put this in, you put your name in and you check the sum, I know that you're a farmer. So he's saying, I'll dox anyone around me who's a Kiwi farmer so I can ruin your career. But I'm just such a sweet, innocent angel, and it's just your fault. I'm actively threatening everyone around me to stay in line, but, I'm just a nice person, and it's your fault that you're an evil, racist, transphobe, Nazi bigot. Anyways, my point with the positive poly thing is that I assumed that when Drop Kiwi Farms stuff ended, there would be a bit more of a hurrah. There would be like a moment where everyone's like, holy shit. That farm is still up, and they resisted all this shit, and that's worth celebrating. And that never happened. In fact, if anything, I would say that because I've taken like an anti-Lolicon stance and an anti-Nick Fuentes stance for principled reasons, a lot of people who would probably celebrate our accomplishments despise me. I think that the people who are like chronically addicted to gooning to anime pornography probably hate me more than trannies do in general at this point. So as a result, the 4chan audience that the trannies would naturally think I try to cultivate hate the Kiwi Farms because of XYZ reason. And 4chan thinks that we're full of trannies and Puritan holes that hate pornography and are trying to steal their heckin' wholesome porn and censor them. So as a result, I have nobody. The only people who give a fuck about what I have to say either watch my podcast or have used the site for 10 plus years now. So unfortunately, my point is that we never recovered from Drop Kiwi Farms in the way that I would have liked. Where everyone's like, wow, this guy weathered the storm and therefore he can be trusted. It's a return to a baseline of about 2021. And then more people just fucking with us because they don't like whatever post they saw. The pedophile spamming child porn forcing me to take a detour from what I would desire to work on the NCMEC reporting system, which, by the way, I got to put into practice this week, so I know it works. I feel like if I had a little party blower, I could reenact the scene from Futurama where Fry celebrates the millennium, like, woo, here's to another lousy millennium, and he blows the party blower. That's me. Oh, I did it. It worked. Great. Cool. So that put me into a bit of a rut where it was frustrating. I was not seeing enough Indians being deported. Wasn't seeing the respect I so rightfully deserve. As my income increases, my expenses also proportionally increase. And the things I need to buy get more expensive to meet the demands of what I'm trying to do. It's very frustrating because I expected to be rewarded. So I dug into my whole chat and I contemplated all manner of existential questions. And I have come to the realization that the determination that expecting to be rewarded for beating evil people like Liz Fong Jones and the pedophile is misguided. You don't get rewarded for beating evil. That is the baseline. That is the expectation. Beating evil doesn't enter you into a lottery where God is going to co-sign your mortgage or buy you a Rolls Royce. It is just what you must do, chat. It is your expectation. It is your status quo is triumphing over the evil, chat. And unfortunately, you don't get bonus points. You don't get entered into the raffle. You just have to do it, chat. So there's no point dwelling on it. I've simply done the job that needs to be done, and the boulder inevitably, chat, must be pushed back up the hill. So I'm very excited about my break. I'm taking the 2 weeks off. After next stream will be the last stream for the year. I'm taking my 2 weeks off. I am getting an extraordinary amount of programming work done. I probably produced more functional code in the last 2 months than I have in like the last 5+ years combined. And a lot of that's AI assisted, but I'm very, very good at guiding it and reviewing the work and producing functional results. And in particular, I've been developing as part of USIPS a program I'm calling MUT. I haven't created a fun backronym for it. I will be calling it MUT though. Something like moderating, unlawful, something. It's it's a work in progress name and a work in progress project, but it will be an AI system for detecting child abuse material. And the main thing that I was very apprehensive of this idea when I first thought of it, because you would instinctively believe that you have to have illegal material to train a model to identify it. I have a different approach that will require zero illegal material to accomplish this. It's a simple additive concept, but it does involve machine learning, which is why I want the server that has the cards, which I will get one day. I have the lease that I can try to deploy to, but that's what I'm working on. And I'm actually really, really pleased in like the last week how much I've gotten done and how good it is at detecting what I need it to. Obviously, I can't see how it works in production until someone tries to attack the server once it's ready to go. But I am I'm making progress on that. There's a lot that I want to do, and I honestly I miss programming. I don't know. I haven't been programming for the last while because it's just it's difficult to feel motivated for it. But I've been feeling more motivated recently. So that's my thought. I needed to process a lot of things over the last month, which is why I didn't sound so elated. And everyone gets mad at me. That's the worst thing. It's like, look, I'm in a bad mood, chat. I have to. Wait, hold up. There's a line from Dota 2 that I have to think of. The Puck says it. Puck, Dota 2 voice line. Where is it? Aha! This is it. This was me. This is me now as I emerge from my cocoon, chat.
I am done contemplating imponderables.
Every Dota 2 line is etched into my brain forever, and I will randomly think of them for some reason. Because I have spent so many thousands and thousands of hours brainwashing myself to memorize every facet of the fucking game. That's it. I can no longer speak on the next things. Okay, so you have to go. Here is the QR code. The Neil Maham. I should have done this before I started talking, so you guys would have had time. The Neil Maham is being disposed of. Finally, I need to should I touch the bullets? I feel like I should touch the bullets and even them out a bit. Yeah. The thing is, when I do this, they start to crush a little bit. Maybe I need to. I designed it in this way where it has that parabolic look to it. Maybe I should not do that. I should make it more flat. Who knows? Okay. That's it. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.